I was very much a doubting Thomas. I didn't think there was much place for religion. We would do Passover Seders as an extended family, but we also celebrated Christmas. What turned me on to being interested in religion was a class I took in school. Religion that had seemed pretty staid and sterile and dusty all of a sudden attained a real life, and I got a sense of why people were so energized by it. And at Divinity School, I found that I was learning about religion from textbooks, from great scholars, but that I still was left with a deep hunger for religion as it's lived from people's own experiences. I was deciding to take a road trip to go talk to people around the country about it. Well, I described the trip as a pilgrimage because I was on a quest. Part of the itinerary was just seeing where the road led me. In fact, one of the amazing parts of that process was just how many serendipitous moments I had just by following one path instead of another. One of my first stops on the trip was in Dayton, Ohio. I decided I was just going to get off that interstate and take an exit and just see where that led me. I saw Halal Market, which is a market that was run and basically patronized by Muslims, and the man who ran it was a young 25-year-old Iraqi refugee named Haider al-Masawi, and I spent a couple hours with him there that afternoon. I learned a lot of things at the Halal Market. One is the extent to which all of these Muslims from around the world, whether they were from Egypt, Indonesia, Pakistan, or Iraq, were developing a life here in America, and they were not sacrificing or forfeiting any of their Muslim heritage or traditions. Another serendipitous moment was in San Francisco. I stopped into a Pentecostal church. The pastor's name was Johnny Lay, and Johnny and I started talking, and he introduced me to his wife. Johnny was a black Pentecostal preacher, and his wife, Ellen, was a white agnostic. So they had been living together for 35 years, married, and obviously had gone through a lot of conversations about this process, but they had managed to create a relationship that transcended the religious divides they had. One of the things I realized most during my travels was just how much people are experimenting with new religious practices and borrowing something from here and incorporating it into their own practice. So what you have is a lot of hybrids that are either new religious traditions springing up, or people are just inventing their own. I had the thought that this would make an interesting book. So the book, which is called All That's Holy, a young guy, an old car, and the search for God in America, that's really a religious coming-of-age story. Told through a lot of the voices of the people I met. I think I knew it was time to wrap it up and that the pilgrimage, or at least this phase of the pilgrimage, was over, because I realized that, for me at least, Judaism was my home. And I decided that instead of flitting around the margins of a lot of different religious communities, I would become an active and stable member of one.